What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. In today's episode, we are back wrenching on the 350Z. Let me show you guys what parts we got here. So got the boost gauge in as well. I think I already showed that in the last video. And then I finally went ahead and got the 3-port Mac valve in as well, with the little jumper to plug into the EVAP. So that's pretty much what gives it power and ground off of that. And then finally, the huge piece of the puzzle is the CGM fuel return kit. So this is for an HR, but it should work perfectly fine on the car. I spoke with Charles over at CJM and pretty much was like, hey, look, I have a 03 350Z, but I have a 3.7 in there. What setup, off the shelf do you think would work the best? And this is what he recommended. So I'm hyped. That was really a crucial part to the puzzle because now the car can make over 600 hopefully with that setup. I will be installing that in a later video, but today we are going to get cracking and I want to get the boost gauge installed, make sure that's good and tested, and then get the Mac valve all installed, wired up. I want to maybe build a mount. I know some guys have mounts online, which now that I think about it, it'll probably be just the best bet is to get a little mount offline, so that way I can mount it up somewhere clean and it's not just flopping around. But yeah, so happy to start working back on the car. Let's get to it. I also have some things in the engine bay that I'm going to kind of be rerouting and moving. So yeah, let's get into it. All right, guys, so real quick, I got my this is for the AEM boost gauge fitting all assembled, a little bit of Teflon tape on there, and then I got the 3-port Mac valve all buttoned up as well, Teflon tape as well. I'm trying to figure out here because it doesn't really tell you which one of these wires is power or ground. I asked a few people, so I'm waiting on a response there, but my next step is once this is dialed in, I will go ahead and get it connected over to this little clip. This is what plugs into your factory EVAP connector, so that sends signal power and ground to here, which is nice. I mean, I think it's cleaner instead of just wiring it to the battery. So I'm gonna get that buttoned up once I get a response, and then I will be moving into the engine bay, relocating a couple things, getting rid of the EVAP line that runs under the car. So yeah, let's keep going. All right, guys, so here we are in the engine bay, and my first step is going to be to move this these ground wires right over here. So you see they just bolt to the engine, and then there's 2 bolts over here. So I'm just going to relocate it from there to here and then ground it down over here somewhere on this frame rail. So that way that gets out of the way. Then I got to get under the car. I'll be removing the whole EVAP line, which is right back here. We'll remove that. And then I'm also going to be looking down there, kind of analyzing where things are going to be ran. I want to get everything where it needs to be, and then order a bunch of heat wrap, heat shrink, gold tape, whatever it may be, so that I can lock all that in and it'll pretty much be dialed. So all we need to do is just put the kit on. So let's go ahead and get this thing relocated here. I'll check back in once we have a couple things where they need to be. All right, guys, so quick little update of things here. So move these grounds over. As you can see, I've moved them from there to there. We got them grounded there on the frame rail, so that gets that out of the way. And then I went ahead and disconnected the starter and alternator cables. So as you know, for VHR cars, I mean, once the starter gets bolted to the battery, or the starter wire, it runs across here and then goes down to the starter. So what I did is I disconnected it from over there, and then I'm trying to see if it's a good idea to route it on the back side of the engine. So that way, as you guys can see here, it's right here and you can bolt it to the battery and it's out of this way. Like, it's not interfering here. And then for the alternator wire, I'm trying to see what I can do or what would be the best way, but it's right down here. And what I'm trying to do is have it like to this, essentially where the fuel feed bracket is, to get it zip tied or mounted somewhere there, so it's kind of like pushed as far back out of this way as possible. And then obviously I'm gonna have to put a fire sleeve on this because it's still too close for comfort for me, and last thing I really want is this car to catch on fire or have any sort of issues like that. So I'm gonna try to get it as far out of the way as possible, and then heat sleeve it. So that's just a little update there. And then here in the back, I talked to my boy Sean, came through, and he said that it doesn't matter as long as one is power and one is ground, it'll act the same. So I'm happy for that. Let's get this wired into the plug, and then yeah, we'll keep making some progress. All right guys, so got the Mac valve all wired in. Here is the little adapter. So you'll take it right up over here, just to show you guys. So this is where your EVAP would connect, and then you just, well, it's kind of hard to do with one hand, but boom, click it in, nice and wired. I have like a little loom I'll probably put around here, or maybe just electrical tape, I don't know, whatever. But that's all set up, that's wired. I am gonna order a little mount for this, just so I can mount it somewhere and not just be floating around. So that's that. Now let's get working on the boost gauge. All right guys, so real quick, just went ahead and took the EVAP line completely off. So it connects obviously to the top of the motor where I showed you guys, to down here. And I will be removing this whole line. I am just gonna disconnect it once we dive into the fuel system, so that I can get rid of it completely and run the return line underneath the car here at the same time. So it's like killing two birds with one stone. But yeah, let's keep moving forward and see what else we can get done. All right guys, so moving on to the inside of the car, I went ahead and got the boost gauge all mounted, which obviously, like, this was the vision that I had with this whole setup, and it looks amazing. So we got boost closest to us, oil pressure, and then water temp. So I'm not gonna bore you guys with the wiring. I'm gonna get it wired up real quick, and then we will test to make sure everything is working. All right guys, so got everything all wired up. Let's go ahead and test it out, make sure everything is working. Chilling. Empingao está la cosa. Yeah, it's just nice. I'm really happy with how that came out, man. That's fire. Perfect. Cool. It's always nice to see your vision kind of work out, so nice. Let's get the interior buttoned up, check back in, and then we'll get this video closed out. All right, so we got the interior all buttoned back up. Everything looks good. I'm really happy with the way it looks, man. Total, you know, streetcar vibes. So looks fire. Now we are pretty much done in here. I routed everything that I needed into the engine bay already. So real quick, just to show you guys, we got the boost gauge sensor plug right here. And then the Mac valve, I did order those little brackets that they make for them. So that's gonna give me pretty much a foundation on where I can mount it. I'm thinking of maybe trying to mount it somewhat off of the top of the plenum, or like here, somewhere down here, maybe somewhere along this area. But yeah, I need that bracket so that I can kind of figure out where I wanna put that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, well, that is gonna do it for today's video. I hope you guys are enjoying the progress. I know it is slow, but some progress is better than none. So I am happy with the way things are moving. Everything's going smooth so far. And yeah, so I'm enjoying this whole process of taking my time and doing things slowly and being able to share it with you guys. So in the next video, we are gonna be doing the fuel system. I hope you guys are excited for that. I am as well. I am going to be learning because I've never done that before on these cars, which is kind of surprising since I've had so many. But anyway, we're going to be learning how to do it. I'm going to try to be very detailed and in depth with the video. I really haven't seen a lot online in a sense of like YouTube and someone really detailing the install. So I'm gonna try my best to be that guy. So maybe it can help one of you guys out in the future, or, you know, shortly if you guys are building your car, whatever. But as always, guys, hope you're enjoying the content. Like, comment, subscribe. And as always, we'll see you in the next one. Peace out.